I know that's very personal.
This is very big. Huh? Is this our boat?
Yeah.
Oh, it's also big. Yeah. I thought it was the one who is so very big.
Riviera. Big boat.
Oh, Sidasi. Oh, Sidasi. Oh, Sidasi.
But you people must have been so busy with the
Oh, very huge. Oh, the sea of the sea. Ah, seas. Oh, the sea of the seas. Very huge. This is our boat, Riviera.
In my language, in Turkish, we have the Latin alphabet, E-M-R-E, Emre. I don't know if I have guests from the United States, but they say somewhere in the state of Georgia, there's a university sounds like my name, Emre. Yes. Yes. So, meaning is different. Emre means a man who is in love in Turkish.
Wow.
Like amor,
Amor. Yeah, amor.
That's exactly Emre in
Emre,
Turkish.
amor.
Yes. My family name is Ateş. Emre Ateş. A-T-E-S. S with a syllable. Ateş. Together they look like one of the international airlines. You know, Emirates.
Oh yeah.
The meaning is still different. Emre is man in love. Ateş in Turkish means fever. Fever. My dear wife, she claims that's a pretty combination, love and fever.
Oh yeah.
Not a big surprise to me. I mean, I knew when we were dating, when we were young, she was a big fan of Jim Morrison, you know, The Doors.
Yeah.
And you know the lyrics, "Come on, baby, light my fire." Yeah. Well, that's a little TMI for this afternoon. So, okay, let's talk Turkey. Okay. Well, I'll be here all night, man. So, I'd like y'all to meet our driver. We have Mr. Mehmet with us, a very experienced driver. Do you know how we say good afternoon in Turkey? Good afternoon. We slightly have that Turkish accent, as you hear. Good afternoon in Turkish is different. We say tinaydın. Merhaba is hello in Turkish. Good afternoon is tinaydın. Would you like to greet Mr. Mehmet?
Tonight.
Mehmet abi sana tünaydın diyor.
Günaydın, günaydın.
Yeah, he waved at you.
It's like United.
So, small world. Small world. Very nice. Welcome, Turkey. Sir, name? Chicago. That's one sweet home, isn't it? Well, come on, baby, won't you?
Favorite city.
That's a song,
Chicago.
right? Sweet home, Chicago. There's another sweet home, Alabama. Yeah. I don't know why today the current prime monster calls us infidel is here. But we're very proud to be the infidels in this country. So did I just say that monster word? English is not my mother tongue, you can make some mistakes unintentionally. Sorry, I meant prime disaster. Anyway, Smyrna, Izmir, it's the city of Angora, maybe that rings a bell. The fine quality mohair we extract from goats. Those goats were originally domesticated in our capital area, on this map located right in the heart of Turkey, where we also have the mausoleum of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey. A great man. You can see like hundreds of his statues, thousands of his pictures all around the country. Some people may think, oh, these Turks, they're obsessed with that. I mean, the color of my pants is a good choice. Yeah. Okay, now you can see. Oh, that's the Odyssey of the Seas. That's the Royal Caribbean ship. Don't worry, Oceania Riviera is right behind that.
It's still there.
For your information, 7:30 is all on board. Okay, I'm planning to be back here like 4:15, 4:30, or another like 3 hours, which is pretty good. Okay, so the biggest city in Turkey. Well, I'll be around the port area after 7:30, sir. I mean, if you happen to miss the all on board time, you can find me. You can stay at my house. That's Turkish hospitality. I'm Europe. That's the region known as Thrace, and the rest of Turkey, 97% is in million today, and we have more or less 1 sheep per person in this country. So a lot of Erdoğan's. Anyway, where was I? I got distracted. Sheep. Oh yeah, the sheep. The number of the number of sheep and lamb in Turkey enabled my home city. Remember Izmir, Smyrna, becoming the leading leather manufacturer city of the world today. Many people in the West, their bias. I mean, the people in the world, their bias. The finest leather goods are Italian, right? Those famous international brands like Gucci, Ferre, etc. All these fine companies, they have their leather goods manufactured in Turkey. Why? Because we have the raw material, we have very fine craftsmanship in Turkey. Besides, we have the Turkish costs. You know, Italy is a member of the European Union and Turkey is not. So the costs differ. So, talking about prosperity and to another name for Asia Minor, Anatolia. You're familiar with the term Anatolia? It stands for Asia Minor. In Turkish, Anatolia is Anadolu. A-N-A, Ana, in Turkish means mother. In Old Turkish, D-O-L-U, Dolu, Anadolu. Dolu means full in Turkish. So together, it's mother full, or full of mothers. That is a beautiful name for such a prosperous, isn't it? It's also a beautiful name for a land where the mother goddess cult started in history, by the way. You know where? Southeast part of Turkey, close to the Kurdish territory of Turkey, everybody. We have 2 famous rivers. Tigris. Ma'am, are you a teacher? Now this homeland, Greece, was already invaded by the Dorians, the Dorian invasion in Greece. So the legendary leader of the Greeks, Androclos, decided to settle somewhere else, build a new city for his people. So you know what he did? He immediately consulted with the oracle in Delphi. So she advised him. I say she on purpose, right? Because oracles in history were always the women. This afternoon is 13% of Ephesus, but that's going to fulfill your expectations. I'd like to thank you all for your kind attendance. I mean, for the last half an hour, all of us. So, in Ephesus, at some places, you may see some German.
Mehmet abi sen de. Tamam mı? Evet. Telefon açarsın. Gel bir araba çalışsın.
Beni bir çaldırabilir misin? Telefonundan 532 chef.
And some help the good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, no. This is going to be our first time. We were new.
Okay, everybody. 1.5 miles of walking. Please note that the major highlights in Ephesus, the terrace houses, the fascinating facade of the Library of Celsus, and of course the Grand Theater of Ephesus, the only exceptional theater mentioned in the New Testament, where St. Paul attempted to preach the Ephesians, which turned out to be a failure since there was a riot against him in the city. These major highlights are located pretty close to the lower gate, I mean to the exit. So in the beginning, I kindly ask you all to adjust with my pace. We're going to do some walking, but then I'm going to make sure you're going to spend sufficient time at the highlights. Okay. Sounds good? Yeah. Okay. You know Steven Tyler? Yeah. You know how he sings, "Walk this way." Here first to disinfect themselves, then they were letting them into the city. Kind of a precaution, right, to avoid diseases spreading out into their cities. And Roman baths were mostly consist of 4 sections: calidarium, hot section; frigidarium, cold section; tepidarium, lukewarm section; and apoditarium was the entrance hall with changing rooms in it. They also had a furnace there where they were heating the water, and the water was brought here from the rivers by aqueducts, collected in the reservoir at the upper part of the city, then distributed to the city, to the baths, to the fountains, and to the dwelling units by clay pipes. And we'll see some original clay pipes on our way. They give us a good idea today about the pretty advanced civil engineering of today and nonetheless.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Down on the ground, on the left-hand side, you can see original clay pipes. By the way, this platform we're walking on is uneven, okay? You can easily trip over, so please be careful. Later on, we're gonna walk on some marble, which can get pretty slippery. Okay, you can see the clay pipes here.
Like an archaeologist. You could touch it and say, I found it. Should have brought it fresh. Yeah. Down there.
Next, we are going to proceed into a huge outdoor venue in rectangular shape where the heart of this city was beating, the state agora of the city. Agora by the Greeks, forum by the Romans, right? Meeting place, marketplace. There's a condition called agoraphobia, which sounds like fear of shopping malls, but the meaning is different. Fear of outdoor venues and crowds, right? This was a state agora here with no shops. Instead, military parades, religious riots, political speeches, elections were held. In every corner during daytime, philosophers talking, giving lectures about virtues of honesty. It was a place like that. Today it's like an outdoor storage with many marble pieces. In Ephesus, 80% of the marble you see was locally quarried, 20% from the Greek Isles. The branches are like tourist traps. Be careful, okay? Be careful here.
Thorns.
Good news, in the afternoons we mostly have a nice breeze in Ephesus. It's hot, but the breeze still helps.
Oh.
Right behind me, back there, you see a structure that looks like a theater. However, it had 2 different names since it had 2 different functions. It was called Wuleterion, where wule in ancient Greek means I'm gonna do it, which means to discuss. So that refers to the advisory council, wule, gathering in Wuleterion, discussing about a theater problem. And after their duties, they were enjoying the live performances of the musicians there. So it was also known as the Odeon of the city. Odeon. Odeon sounds like auditorium, right? That's related to hearing, where theater is derived from, you call it theater or theater? Theater. Okay.
Either one.
Theater.
So that's derived
Theater.
from theatron in ancient Greek, that's related to singing. All the upper part there is reconstruction. Used to hold 1,400 people on it. And on both sides on top, you see arch entryways. Those arch entryways were
the vomitorium. Vomitorium or vomitory. Imagine such entryways used to vomit people into the structure or out of the structure. Probably that's why they were called a vomitory. And during our tour, okay, Britannion in Doric order, right? Britannion in Doric order. This dates back to 1st century AD. Next door, you see that structure on the right hand side in Ionic order, 1st century BC. Interesting, right? 1st century AD with Doric, 1st century BC with Ionic.
Oh.
That's something wrong. There's something wrong, right? Because I said this earlier.
Yeah.
Doric, I mean. You see there are some inscriptions carved. If you look carefully, you see
Yeah.
the inscriptions?
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot put those inscriptions on a vertically fluted columns, right?
Right.
That's the reason they picked the earlier version, earlier style, to have the inscriptions. What are the inscriptions about? It's about laws and regulations of the city. Probably they wanted to give a message not only to the people of the issue. During the excavations, down there, I'm an animal figure.
Yeah. She's a supermodel.
Yeah. The busiest goddess back in the old days, goddess of moon, right? She was the twin of Apollo. Goddess of fertility, childbirth, hunting, nature. That's why I call her the busiest goddess. Carved, right?
Yeah.
These are original, by the way. Ephesians carved these on purpose to stop slipping on rainy days. So these were carved for traction. But apart from those, you will see deeper holes or deeper lines. Imagine these were handles. They were handles made out of iron and lead to pull and carry such pieces. You do not see the metals today. They're gone. What happened? Mosquitoes, malaria. Remember, Ephesians had to abandon this location. Metals like iron and lead probably were considered as good recycling materials for their new equipments. That's why we think they got the lead out, right before they got the lead out. Are a modern epistle symbolizing pharmacy, and on this one, you see again a tripod, but this time a snake around it. That's caduceus, right?
Medical,
That's
yeah.
medicine. The edges of the pieces here are very smooth and slippery. Please be careful, okay?
This is not medicine.
That's pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yes.
So they separated it even back then.
Yes. Roman governor, 1st century BC, also dedicated to his grandfather, the famous dictator Sulla. Dictator Sulla, the Roman general who was sent here to take control over. There, everybody. I suggest we get there.
Nike se inspiró en ella.
No veis tota la cop, Sara. Vés-te la guardar. Mira, Sara.
Here, I'm giving the demonstration, okay?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Hercules.
Let's do it together.
It claims you're going to be a
Come on, together.
Together.
There you go. Yes.
Okay, smile. Touch the pillows. Okay, thank you. Touch the pillows, smile.
Thank you.
Shake, guys. I love it.
Here I am, babe.
Not wine.
Okay. Everybody, Mary asked me this question. Now you're gonna tell about that statue. One day,
Medusa.
no. One day I was touring with my group, and I saw Aisha, my wife. She was there with her group. She didn't see me. I was just walking behind her. And then one of her clients asked, "So, what about the statue? She said, oh, that's my ex-husband.
And what did you do?
What
did you do?
She has a joke
I was
also.
shocked. I was expecting. So she has her own jokes.
Yeah.
I was. Everybody, we just passed through the monumental gate dedicated to Hercules. Used to divide the city into two. Those two bases, Nike, she was right on top of the two bases. And you can recognize Hercules himself on the base, especially the one on the left-hand side. Holding the head of a lion in his hand, probably giving a message. If you ever attempt to pass through the state part of the city with some evil in your heart, this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to be terminated, just like early days of 2nd century AD. During his reign, Rome expanded to its biggest land size-wise. And let's take a look right in the center. On top of the base, you can recognize a ball and a foot next to it. You all see that? Well, looks like soccer, but not. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. Yeah. So, Trajan, statue of him stepping on the ball, giving a message. I'm stepping on it because I control it since I already cut. But you know, they're also like workers, local villagers, etc. Yes?
I don't care. I'm just curious whether they.
Yes. Yes, they do. They do take volunteers. Yes. To the successor of Trajan, Hadrian. Once you take a look right in the center, in the inner arch, you'll be seeing Antinous, the famous passionate lover of Hadrian, and front arch on the keystone, you'll be seeing Tyche by the Greeks, Fortuna by the Romans, the goddess of fortune and good luck. I'd like to show you something pretty cool. If you return yeah, that's the Greek key. They call it. We call it river meanders, which means eternity to us. Okay. And up there, you see a frieze where you can recognize 4 women next to each other playing their cymbals. And then further to the right corner, you see an elephant. Can you tell me which one there is depicted bigger, the women or the elephants? The women on purpose, because they were the famous, gigantic warrior women of the ancient world. Amazons. Do you know why they were called the Amazons?
Somebody.
So fancy shops. Okay, let's go. Okay.
Not for just one family, right? In a big space like this?
One family?
Which one?
Well, but under this roof, there are 6 dwelling units. Okay. So this is one of them. I'll tell you about these. So everybody, welcome to the terrace houses. First of all, today the trend in building museums is to build the museum on top of the artifacts, right? And in this case, please note that the terrace houses section in Ephesus is one of the finest examples in the world today, under this roof. What we see here is totally 6 dwelling units and one marble workshop, where they were cutting, carving, waxing the marble. These were the houses of the rich. Who were the rich Ephesians? Tax collectors, politicians, pagan priests, and some rich, reputable businessmen. They had homes in this area. These were typical Roman homes. Those we call peristyle homes, which means an atrium in the center, okay? Surrounded by the other sections of the house. So every atrium enabled them to obtain fresh air and light into the dwelling unit. Also, every atrium had a well to obtain water from the rain, just in case of any possible breakdowns with the water distribution in the clay pipes. Okay?
Fountains? Did they have fountains?
They had decorative pools and wells. In every house had a well.
More like a cistern then.
Yeah, like a cistern. So, feast of Dionysus. You know Dionysus, the Greek Dionysus, or the Roman Bacchus, the god of wine, entertainment, and theatrical performances, or the city councilor owned this house. This section is called the marble hall. Imagine like a 3-storied hall with all marble walls decorated with marble. Once you take a look at marble pieces, you see the marble was cut so fine, so properly. So they needed something very sharp, something very strong to cut marble, right? Any idea what they might have used to cut marble?
Diamond.
Diamond is a good guess. Thank you. But not good enough. Granite. No, thank you. Okay. Water. Three substances, 3 materials. One of them was water. Very good. Last time I did Oceania Riviera, coming from Istanbul, guests just nailed it with the answer.
They didn't go from behind.
Okay.
Who's left behind?
Okay. Did you see and touch some silk rugs in Istanbul?
Yes.
Silk rugs. Did you? So were you given a presentation about the materials and silk, how strong silk is? You might have missed that part. Everybody, silk. When you touch the silk rugs, it feels so smooth and it may feel very fragile, but silk is almost as strong as spider's web in nature. And when it's a thread, it can cut marble. So they use either a silk axe or a silk saw, worked by the help of a simple machinery, a water mill. They also use water and sand. For lubrication, poor quality olive oil they use. But cutting the marble was not enough. Constantine and his mother were both converted. So suffering under the Roman persecution for like 2 centuries, that was a big opportunity for the Christians to spread this message out. The king is finally Christian. The best place to give that message was the king's place. That's why the basilicas were converted into churches. This particular one behind me was where they had guests of honor, where they were wined and dined. Okay? Ouch. Gladiator figures. Here, it's not new. So I think these were like 1600 years ago. Kids of the house. You see this? There's another one here. You can see the shield. You recognize the shield and the muscles, the arms of the gladiators, the chests. Another one there, probably. Some parts are missing. Okay, whenever it gets boring, please kindly continue that I pretend that you still enjoy it, okay? That will keep me motivated. Okay, India and Persia, they were rivals. Both great civilizations. Everybody. Sponsors for the roof. 1999, Austrians built the roof. Some sponsors.
That's nice.
This glass walkway was built by the Turks. Okay. Our pulses are good. Okay. Because that's going to be a very attractive wall. Are you ready?
I'm scared.
What's your second here? Okay, in order to have the best experience with the wall of the theater room, everybody come and stand where I stand, where I'm waiting at you. On your tiptoes, look to the left wall. Okay? There you go. Wall by wall. You should go to the right corner. If possible, not more than 15 seconds, please.
What are you looking for?
Naked. Like it's like a.
But I don't know what I got.
It's a Roman orgy kind of thing you see on that wall. Yeah.
It's very accurate.
It's a very manly tree.
Accurate. Accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah.
Precise.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, how do you feel now?
Fine.
Good? We're good?
Enlightened.
Good. So, okay. Here is the question. How did you enjoy the terrace houses section? I don't know. From the entire cruise ship you had, probably 600 people on board, I don't know. There are only 2 buses. 12 with me and probably 15 with the other buses. And please kindly mind the step here. Please mind the step here and Harbor that. I grew up there.
Yeah, see my big location.
Acá?